Good morning. It's just after 10 on Tuesday morning. Well, it's not. It's Wednesday morning. And I have a few minutes before I go off to story time at the library, so I thought I'd chat to you. Now, I went back over chapter 6 in Matthew's Gospel. I don't really know why, but I did. Well, I do know why. I was watching a Derek Prince video and he mentioned it and I thought, oh, I must highlight those two words because it's important. Verse 16, and when you fast, do not look gloomy like the hypocrites, for they disfigure their faces that their fasting may be seen by others. Truly, I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you fast, anoint your head and wash your face, that your fasting may not be seen by others, but by your Father who is in secret. And your Father who sees in secret will reward you. Now, I hadn't done any highlighting with my handy green marker, which is still intact, before, and I don't know why, but I sort of thought in my stupidity that fasting was a thing of the past, that there was no need to fast these days. But Jesus doesn't say, and if you fast. He says, and when you fast. And that sort of came to me right in the middle of my eyeballs. I hadn't considered fasting at all. I think mainly because if I know myself, if I don't eat, I get the most whopping headaches. And I feel so unwell. So I haven't ever fasted for more than 4 hours between a meal. But then I thought, well, maybe it's like when I've said I'm not doing Facebook or looking at Instagram. So I'm just turning to the pages I want. I'm not doing Instagram for a month. Does that count as a fast? Probably in a way, yes. Because I'm spending more time in the Word. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I have to really... No, there's no maybe about it. I need to go to God in prayer and find out more from Him directly whether I should be fasting from food all the time. Anyway, yesterday it was chapter 13 up to chapter 16. So I'm just going to go through what I highlighted here and see what it says. Chapter 13, they have the parable of the seeds, and some of the seeds go onto the stony path, and some of them go into thorns. Some of them go into good soil. And then in the explanation, which is verse, my eyesight's 23. What was sown on good soil, this is the one who hears the word and understands it. He indeed bears fruit and yields, in one case 100-fold, in another 60, and in another 30. And I think my prayer is that anybody who hears the good news of Jesus coming to earth and dying on the cross for our sins and everything, I just pray that all falls on good soil, that hearts will be ready to receive it, and that God's fruit will just grow and be, as they said, yielding in one case 100-fold, in another 60, in another 30. I mean, I don't need to know how much my soil yields. I'd like to think it does a lot, but whatever. And later on, he gave the parable of the weeds, and the ground had been prepared. They sowed good weeds. The farmer, if you like, his enemy had come and sown weeds. And so they said, well, shall we go and pull up the weeds? And the man said, no, because if you do that, you're going to possibly yank up the good grain, and leave it till the end, and we'll harvest everything, and then gather the weeds and chuck them onto the fire. And they being the disciples, asked him to explain that. And he answered, saying, the one who sows the good seed is the Son of Man. That's Jesus. The field is the world, okay? And the good seed is the sons of the kingdom. So the Son of Man is Jesus. And I kind of think that perhaps the soil is the Holy Spirit preparing the soil. Jesus then spreads the seed, and the world is the field, and this good soil, the good seed, is the sons of the kingdom, like the Christians. The weeds are the sons of the evil one, and we know the evil one is the devil, Satan. And the enemy who sowed them is the devil. So we've got weeds, which should be like the demons, and the devil sowed them around. The harvest is the end of the age, and the reapers are angels. Just as the weeds are gathered and burned with fire, so will it be at the end of the age. The Son of Man will send his angels, and they will gather out of the kingdom all causes of sin and all lawbreakers, and throw them into the fiery furnace. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. He who has ears, let him hear. So this feels like it might be tough. You've got the church, you've got all the Christians in the church, and the angels will come with Jesus at the end and gather us up. But maybe not all people who go to church are saved. Maybe not all people have good seed growing in them. I think sometimes there's no maybe about it. And I just pray that I would be found worthy of not worthy. I pray that I will be found to have been living, that all my fruit harvest will be a good harvest, and that I won't be thrown into the fire, because I don't do fire, I don't do heat. So, yeah. And then he talked about the parable of the net. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net that was thrown into the sea and gathered fish of every kind. When it was full, men drew it ashore and sat down and sorted the good into containers, but threw away the bad. So like if you've gone for, trout, and you've ended up coming up with pilchards, you're going to chuck the pilchards out. So it's the same sort of thing, isn't it? He's coming for good fish, and if you're a pilchard, you're going to get chucked out. So we need to make sure we're trout. And yet again he said, so it will be at the end of the age. The angels will come out and separate the evil from the righteous and throw them, the evil, into the fiery furnace. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. So yet again, same thing. It's getting very dark out there. I'm wondering if we're going to have some rain. Don't know what happened there. I managed to turn it around. Jesus was rejected at Nazareth, and they took offence at him. Just the people of Nazareth took offence at him, and there's a lot of people these days who take offence at us when we are talking about Jesus and living in his way. And there's several times I've underlined, highlighted that Jesus had compassion on them. So them being the people. And I think both of those times was on the feeding of the 5,000 and the feeding of the 4,000. Now, the 5,000 was 5 loaves and 2 fishes. The 4,000 was 7 loaves and a few fish. But what gives with the disciples? They saw what happened with the feeding of the 5,000, with the 5 loaves and 2 fishes. So why on earth were they the same when it was the 4,000? Well, even Jesus asked that question. In chapter 16, he asked them, "O ye of little faith, why are you discussing among yourselves the fact that you have no bread? Did you not yet perceive? Do you not remember that 5 loaves for the 5,000 and how many baskets you gathered? Or that 7 loaves for the 4,000 and how many baskets you gathered? How is it that you failed to understand that I did not speak about bread? Beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees, because he had been saying, Jesus had said to them right before that to beware of what the Pharisees and Sadducees were teaching. So even he sort of thought, well, good grief, what's up with these disciples? Maybe I would have been the same if I'd been there. I don't know. Okay, Jesus walking on the water in chapter 14. Before he did that, he went up on the mountain by himself to pray. And if he needs to go away by himself to pray, then I think we need to be by ourselves somewhere to pray, away from people, just ourselves and God. There's a lesson to learn. And then, of course, the disciples were in a boat, and then Jesus started walking towards them on the water, and they were scared. Well, terrified, it says. But yet again, Jesus said, "Take heart. It is I, do not be afraid." He loves to say, take heart. So that's something. I'm rushing through a little bit because I know I've got to leave. A bit further on, it is not what goes into the mouth that defiles a person, but what comes out of the mouth that defiles a person. What comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart, and this defiles a person. Oh my word, it's raining. Angie, it's raining. Yay. That just means that Teddy Bear's picnic will be indoors. What comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart, and this defiles a person. For out of the heart comes evil thoughts, murder, adultery, sexual immorality, theft, false witness, slander. These are what defile a person. No, okay. So there you go. That runs in with yesterday when I underlined about thoughtless, careless words which come from the heart. I think it stopped. A little bit of rain though. Lastly, because it is 10:30 now and I've got to go. Oh, I just wanted to mention that when he fed the 4,000 and the 5,000, he didn't go laying his hands on the fish and the bread and everything. All Jesus did was give thanks. He gave thanks to God for the food. That's all you have to do. So I think that is thunder. I think we have to be more aware of giving thanks, and then he will multiply the blessing. And in chapter 16, I underlined, when it is evening, you say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning it will be stormy today, for the sky is red and threatening. Oh my goodness, isn't that just like it? We say, even now, red sky at night, shepherd's delight. Red sky in the morning, shepherd's warning. Even back then, they were doing that. So, I've read that bit. I have a question. Maybe you can answer this, Angie. Chapter 16, verse 16. Simon Peter replied, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And Jesus answered him, Blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. But my question comes from verse 20. Then he strictly charged the disciples to tell no one that he was the Christ. Why? I don't know. And the last thing I'm going to do very quickly before I go out, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Or what shall a man give in return for his soul? For the Son of Man is going to come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and then he will repay each person according to what he has done. Truly I say to you, there are some standing here who will not taste death until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Maybe we won't taste death until we see him return. I don't know, that would be a blessed thing, wouldn't it? And just very quickly in other news, it's finished. I've got to tie the ends in and wash it, and then it'll go away so I can start on another project. Not sure what yet, but I'll start on another one. I've got to go. I've got to get down to story time, but I'll upload this when I get home, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. I'm doing chapters 17, 18, 19 and 20 today. We'll see what God has to say then. Take care, everybody. I'll see you soon. I'm off to Teddy Bear's picnic. Bye.